The Wicked Wife. In Vikramapura, long ago, there lived a merchant and his wife. She was a wicked woman who was in love with a servant in the house. One day, the merchant saw her giving a kiss to the servant and was very angry. But the merchant's wife was a cunning woman. When she saw that her husband had seen her with the servant, she began to shout, "Look at this fellow. He's a thief. He steals the camphor and eats it. I found out by smelling it on him." The servant also began wailing that he didn't wish to work in a house with such a terrible mistress. "I will leave this place now," he said. The husband was so simple that he believed her and spoke kindly to the servant, asking him to stay. Thus, the merchant's wife managed to fool her husband even though he had seen her being unfaithful. The fish and their fate. She wasn't a good woman, but the story shows that it is the presence of mind that saves us from disaster, said the second fish. The third fish was not very sensible and could not make up his mind what to do. He was a fellow who waited for something good to turn up or happen. He could not make fast decisions, so he just stayed in the lake with his friend and waited, hoping for the best. The second fish had spent the night working on a plan, and when morning came, he was ready with it. But the third fish had simply gone to sleep, hoping for the best when the time came. The foolish fish. Morning came. The first fish had already left for a safe place. The second fish had thought out a plan. The third one hoped everything would work out fine in the end. The fishermen waited till it was light and came as they had said earlier, carrying their nets. They cast their nets over the waters and began swooping in the fish. They caught a lot of fish, and among them were the two friends as well. The second fish stayed in the net quietly and acted as if it had been dead. When the fishermen pulled in the nets, the second fish waited till it found an opening and jumped out back into the safety of the lake and swam away. But the third fish kept waiting, hoping that by some miracle it would be saved. But the fishermen simply hauled him in and killed him. An escape plan. The tortoise's story was told so that the swans might plan in advance for their safety. The three friends thought about several plans, but there was always one difficulty. The swans could fly, but the tortoise couldn't. "How will I go with you both?" wondered the tortoise. Finally, they came up with a good plan. The two swans would fly holding a stick between them in their beaks. The tortoise would grip the stick with his teeth and hang on to it. That way, they could fly carrying the tortoise too and reach another lake safely. Early next morning, the swans found a stick and arranged the tortoise in the center to grab it as they took flight. When all was ready, the swans told the tortoise to be careful of the dangers. Otherwise, it will be like the silly cranes who stood around while the mongoose ate up their nestlings, said the swan.
Thanks for watching. Do like, share, subscribe to Sahil Book House.